I know. No, I know.
That's always sharp. I'm going to call to order the town council meeting for the town of Fort Mill for August the 8th. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. If everyone will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman McCarthy.
Dear Lord, please be with us tonight. Please be with us to have a reverent heart and to keep you in our thoughts and prayers as we move forward making the decisions of the town. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. We have a good agenda tonight with some positives coming our way. That's always a nice thing. Welcome again. We have a policy here. If you intend or would like to speak, you'll need to sign up outside. Do we have a list of speakers, Virginia?
Just Ben Johnson.
Just Ben Johnson, all righty.
Not just, but only one on the list. How about that?
I heard it, Ben. I heard it.
And that would just be
Sorry, Ben.
just for the item on down the agenda.
I hear you. Just for the item on the agenda. Okay. Council members, you've seen the town council meeting minutes for 7/25. Do we have any corrections, deletions, amendments?
Move to accept.
Hearing none, I have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion to accept and a second. Thank you all. We have no one for public comment, so we'll move straight to presentations.
Mayor, you need to vote on that.
Do we?
You had a
I
motion,
just
you had a
scoot
second.
right
and you
along,
just
don't I? Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Sorry about that. All right, presentation number 1. Presentation to the Young Marines, a proclamation in recognition of Red Ribbon Week. Would you like to come forward as I read the proclamation? Before I read the proclamation, would you introduce yourself to the folks here tonight?
Young Marine Private Vance.
Private Vance.
Young Marine Lance Corporal Campbell.
Campbell.
Young Marine PFC Lee.
Lee.
Young Marine PLC Henderson.
Henderson. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Town of Fort Mill, South Carolina proclamation. Whereas communities across America have been plagued by the numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic in them. And whereas there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and that hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Mecklenburg County Young Marines of the Marine Corps League to foster a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. And whereas governments and community leaders know that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our communities. And whereas the red ribbon has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique Kiki Camarena, a Drug Enforcement Administration special agent who was murdered in the line of duty and represents the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention and reduction efforts. And whereas October 23rd through the 31st has been designated National Red Ribbon Week, which encourages Americans to wear a red ribbon to show their support for a drug-free environment. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Gwen Savage, on behalf of the Fort Mill Town Council, do hereby proclaim the week of October the 23rd through the 31st, 2016, as Red Ribbon Week. And in the town of Fort Mill, we urge all citizens to join us in this special observance. I can't think of anything more humbling to stand here with these young men that have taken this direction so early in life to do the things to protect the freedoms that you and I enjoy. So I thank you all for the meaning that you have struck in your life and the path you have chosen. So can I stand in the middle of you? I know you're all at attention, but I'd like to, how about that? How about this? Come over this way. You're still not too old to give hugs.
Thank you.
We have a round of applause for these ones. Anything you'd like to say? No? Quiet, strong type, right? I'll wrestle with you, I'm telling you. I'll let you be the bearer of the proclamation. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Very humbling. Thank you so much. Presentation number 2, July financial statements. Soldier of our own type, Shante Bowler, Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor,
Thank
members of council.
Thank you all.
Again, good evening. We'd just like to bring you a quick snapshot of the financials for the month ending July 2016. We're closing in. We're at 10th month in the fiscal year, and our target is at 84%. Our general fund revenues are at 93% of budget. Our general fund expenditures, all departments are at or below the 84% threshold. The gross revenues are at 37%. The gross revenue expenditures, all departments are below the 84% threshold. The stormwater utility fund revenue is at 63%. The stormwater expenditures are at 51%. For our capital projects fund, the revenues without the transfer of the $3.5 million previously moved is at 18%. Our hospitality tax continue to track well at 90% of budget, and that's through the June reporting period. And our capital projects expenditures remain at 15%. We had no activity for the month of July. An update on our other funds, our accommodations tax, we've collected $90,296. For our impact fees, fire protection, we've collected $125,473. Municipal facilities, we've collected $217,734. And for recreation, we've collected $610,089, which gives us a total collections through July of $953,296. This ends our report, Mayor.
Just as a point of interest for the audience, hospitality tax dollars are collected when you go eat something in the town of Fort Mill, when you do anything that looks like we're extending a hand of hospitality, and it's money that we have earmarked in a particular way for expenditure, so it helps the town. So thank you all for visiting the town of Fort Mill and enjoying the businesses that we have here. Shante, as always, thank you very much. You got a question?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, always. Field rentals for Parks and Rec, where are those showing on here?
Say again, I'm sorry.
Field rentals, when we're needing to rent a field?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember? Or you need to get back to me if you don't know which one? I didn't see a
I think it,
note for it.
let's see.
That's under park rentals.
That's under the park, okay, it falls under park rentals.
Okay.
On your revenue side.
Perfect. And then this may be more of a Dennis question than you. We're coming to the end of our budget cycle on here. Are there any hires that we still need to do that were approved, or major projects to expect? Because we're in great financial shape.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few open positions in various departments, but
Okay.
most are filled.
Okay. Any other projects?
There'll be a few between now and the end of the year, but, and I'm sorry, second.
Any other projects, equipment purchases, or we've taken care of most
We just did the
everything?
lease purchase, y'all
Right.
approved, and that
Okay.
equipment's been ordered.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank you.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shante. Any further comment? I think we certainly are very pleased to have our capable bookwork in order. Public hearing item number 1. This is where Mr. Johnson would like to speak. An ordinance authorizing the entry by the town of Fort Mill into a development agreement with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority doing business as Carolina's Healthcare System for property located at York County tax map numbers, my favorite part, 020, 08, 01, 004, 005, 736, 40028, 032, and 031, which is a portion of 031, lying west of the Fort Mill Parkway right-of-way, such parcels containing approximately 38.6 plus or minus acres located on or near Tom Hall Street and Fort Mill Parkway, authorizing the execution and delivery of such development agreement and other matters relating thereto. This is the second of 2 required public hearings. Ben, would you like to address council?
Thank you, Mayor Satch.
Mhm.
As Mr. Pieper said, I'm just Ben Johnson.
I'll never live that one down.
No,
We're at 6 College Avenue in Rock Hill. More importantly, along with me is Mr. Robert Drayton of Carolinas Medical Center and Miss Emily Brewer, who
At
is
least you
the...
got a title.
Just.
just.
Before you tonight for second reading later on are the request to annex the property belonging to Mr. Chase. And then the hospital also has a contract to purchase property belonging to an entity called Super 17, which combined will be 35 acres. And this public hearing has to do with the development agreement that we propose to permit the construction on, within highway commercial in the particular uses specified there on the property. And as Mr. Cronin has said previously to you, we've included 50-foot buffers at the rear and the side where it adjoins residential. And of course, the property is going to be subject to the impact fees of the town. Be glad to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for the Honorable Ben Johnson? Thank you so much. Any questions or comments? All I need to do is close the public hearing. Old business item number 1, second reading. An ordinance annexing York County tax map numbers as previously read. No, I'm kidding. 736-000-028-032 and a portion of 031 lying west of the Fort Mill Parkway right-of-way containing approximately 28.6 plus or minus acres located on Tom Hall Street and Fort Mill Parkway. It's in Mr. Huntley's ward number 3. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we move to accept.
Second.
Motion to accept and a second. Do we have any discussion? Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. We'll pass old business item number 1. Old business item number 2, second reading. An ordinance authorizing the entry by the town of Fort Mill into a development agreement with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority doing business as Carolina's Healthcare System for property located at York County tax map numbers 020-0801, 004, 005, 736, 00, 028, 032, and the portion of 736-000-031 lying west of the Fort Mill Parkway right-of-way, such parcels containing approximately 38.6 plus or minus acres located on or near Tom Hall Street and Fort Mill Parkway, authorizing the execution and delivery of such development agreement and other matters relating thereto. Again, Ward 3, Mr. Huntley. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept old business item number 2.
We have a motion to accept, and I'll second that. Do we have any question, any comment?
We're welcome to have CMC coming here. And additional medical opportunities for our community.
I agree, and I really appreciate you folks being here each and every meeting that we've had to be able to answer questions as needs or provide information. The cooperation is well appreciated. Thank you so much. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. We will pass old business item number 2. New business items. New business item number 1, first reading. An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances for the Town of Fort Mill, Chapter 6, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 2, Technical Codes, Section 6-26, Adoption of Standard Codes so as to adopt the most up-to-date versions of the International Building Code, IBC, International Residential Code, IRC, International Existing Building Code, IEBC, International Fire Code, IFC, International Plumbing Code, IPC, International Mechanical Code, IMC, International Fuel Gas Code, IFGC, International Electrical Code, NEC, and International Property Maintenance Code, IPMC, and International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, ISPSC. Don't need a vacation to go visit one of those. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept new business item number 1.
I have a motion to accept and a second. Do we have any discussion or questions?
Mayor, it's one thing I think we need to note on a title change there.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. After the agenda went out last week, we had received notification from our deputy building official that the names of some of those codes have changed from.
You're kidding.
I'm not going to make you.
Reading those
I'm not going to make you
eloquently.
repeat them. In the past, yeah, in the past, the codes have been called the International Code with South Carolina modifications. What those are, they're international code books published by the International Code Council. They go to the State Building Code Council, which may, at their discretion, make modifications that are applicable only in the state of South Carolina. Those codes are published every 3 years, and usually within about a year of the codes being published, the Building Code Council will endorse them. Regardless of whether or not you approve this ordinance, these are the codes. They're mandatory, and they're done statewide. So this is just bringing our ordinance into conformity with the state. But the code names actually changed this year. Rather than being called the International Plumbing, Residential, Fire and Whatnot Code, they're now the South Carolina Building Code, Residential Code, Fire Code. So we would just ask that when you do first reading approval, that you make that notation in your motion, and then when you give second reading approval, we'll bring back a revised version of the ordinance with the new code names.
And because I wasn't writing, instead of international, it's supposed to say South Carolina.
Correct. It's the South Carolina Building Code, South Carolina Residential,
Got it.
Fire, Existing Building, Plumbing, Mechanical,
We
and
can do
Food
that.
Gas.
We can do that. Because we've already had a motion, do we now take a second motion to accept based on a name change of replacing international with South Carolina? If that is the case, then I'm going to make that motion, and I think that's appropriate. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to accept and
Who
approve.
seconded
Huh?
it? Jamie. Okay,
Jamie?
thank you.
Yeah. To
Deputy Amendment.
approve with the change from international to South Carolina. Do we have any further questions or comments? Yes, ma'am?
So if we change International Building Code to South Carolina Building Code, would that change the abbreviation after? Instead of IBC would
Yes.
be
Yeah, we'll reflect the
SBC.
change in the minutes
Yeah.
properly. We just make sure that
Okay.
we're aware of the
Okay.
change.
Okay. All
Did we
righty.
give proper notification to our contractors that we're changing all this?
They get all this.
Yes, sir, they know all that, but we do make those contacts with them when they come in.
I do think that's a great comment in the business that some of us are in. It's very important because whereas they get the information, I think there's nothing wrong with reminding anyone that a change has occurred to those codes and that the new code needs to be adhered to. Any other comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. All right. Executive session items. Council may take action on executive session items listed on the agenda when we come back into the public session. Executive session items are item number 1, discussion of negotiations incident to proposed contractual agreements regarding the Fort Mill School District's RFP. Executive session Item number 2, discussion of negotiations incident to proposed contractual agreements for sidewalk easement on Doby's Bridge Road. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion and go to executive session.
I have
Second it.
I have a motion and a second by Councilman Heemsall. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. A. All right, we'll move into executive session and return shortly. Thank you. Let the record reflect that no vote was taken in executive session. Do I have a motion to return to regular session?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion to return, a motion second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Back in regular session. We have no further items on our agenda for this evening, so if we would want to do a quick roundtable, Mr. Huntley.
A little point in history, 172 years ago today, the U.S. Patent Office issued a patent for the refrigerator.
I'm glad.
That's my word of
Thank God
wisdom
for that.
today.
That and air conditioning. Jamie?
I just want to make sure everybody stays a little more aware and diligent. Now that school is getting close, it starts on the 15th. There's a lot more kids out on the streets and people in the roads driving around trying to get their routes taken care of and school clothes shopping. So just everybody be a little bit more careful and keep their eyes open.
And teenagers driving.
Yeah.
Lisa?
Thank you to everyone who put all the effort in, Caroline and the police department for the community night event.
That almost was.
It almost was. I was on my way until lightning struck. But thank you very much. It's good to see the great response our community. I had a lot of people asking questions about it, excited to go to it, ready to see the fire trucks and ready to see the police cars. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to continue spreading that goodwill to our community and letting them see that we are accessible, each and every one of us, every day, not just at a special event. So thank you all for the effort put into it.
Drew?
And I have to go along with what Lisa said. I was walking out the door when the rain started, so I just put my purse down and stayed at home. That's all.
Chris?
It's almost football season.
Go
Go Gamecocks. That's all I have. Thank y'all for all being here and for putting the meeting together and for all y'all's hard work and staff y'all do for us. Thank you.
Ronnie?
I don't know what it is about Caroline, but that's 2 events that she's planned. That lightning showed up, movie in the park. And
It's that time of year.
She's electrifying.
I had a couple of things. I would like to publicly thank Patrick Hamilton for taking the phone calls about the lack of adequate signage at the bypass and Williams Road. The reaction was immediate, and I'm so grateful to have flashing lights and bigger signs and notification. I would encourage also, I think Jamie is right on, spot on, school starts in a week. If you have a kid that's driving, that is an unnatural stop for someone that's lived here all the time. Please pay attention to those new intersections and those new pathways. But thank you. Patrick was very responsive, and I'm very grateful, as I know we all are. Also for the police and fire departments, who knew that all this heat would finally break with a little bit of rain and a whole lot of lightning, but I saw you guys out repeatedly. Thank you for what you do, and the rest of us are grateful for the rain. You guys go to work, so thank you so much. Also, Caroline, we'd be remiss to not thank you, because even the best laid plans go amiss because of the weather and other events, and a lot of labor, Brown and Caroline and Jeff and everybody on staff. I've been up here during the day, and there's no one person that does one thing here. Everybody pitches in. Joe, he's been known to come across and pick up the gavel and get going. So thank you for all that you do, Virginia. You're a mainstay, an anchor, cornerstone, all those good things. And I'd like to thank Davey. He's not here tonight, but I noticed the flags got changed on Main, and I find it to be refreshing, to see new color and new movement. So I ask everybody to shop local. Always thank your policemen, your firemen, and all the people that keep our town the great town that it is. And with that,
I
I'll.
do have one more real quick that I forgot. Just wanted to thank, especially because we're recorded tonight, Dana Botwell, who
Yes.
went and served not only the town of Fort Mill, but the state of South Carolina in the Miss International Beauty Pageant competition and finished in the top 15. So that's unbelievable when you look at small little town represented that
Strawberry
way.
Queen.
Strawberry Queen previously. And she has done a fabulous job with the Cookies for Kids Cancer. And it is coming up time, I believe, September for Paint the Town Gold. And I know the town will have gold ribbons along Main Street, as well as she has a healthy competition going on among the neighborhoods. Last I saw, Massey was in #1 place for pre-orders. So just remember to paint the town gold, and those families, they're a lot less fortunate than those of us with kids without those type of health issues. So
Absolutely.
with that, I'm done.
Thank you, Lisa. I'll entertain the motion for adjournment.
I move to adjourn.
I have a
Second.
motion. A second. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Thank you. We're all good to go.